Hi, Dr. Emma. Welcome to the High Vibration Living Podcast.
Thank you for having me here today, Whitney. It's a
Yeah,
pleasure.
I'm so excited to connect with you, a fellow Orange County practitioner. Can you tell the audience a little bit more about you and your practice and your focus?
I'm a doctor of chiropractic. I own a wellness center here in San Clemente. And practice is really simple. It's the idea to help people better health, healthier living through chiropractic care, energy healing, functional medicine, really helping people understand themselves better so that they can take care of themselves better. This machine is kind of smart and very intelligent, and when we can tap into that magic of we are designed to do, life happens better.
Absolutely. I completely agree. And that's very much why I have this podcast.
Hmm.
It's helping people understand how to use the mechanism that is their body to have this human experience and
Exactly.
understanding that it's like a frequency energy machine, right? And so
Uh-huh.
it's not going to just keep running all the time no matter what. We have to manage it and take care of it and bring it in for maintenance. And for some of us, it needs more maintenance than others, just depending on where we are in our life.
Exactly what I said to my patients. It's like, where are like very expensive Lamborghini? And if you had a very expensive Lamborghini, you would not take it to a regular garagist. You would not put cheap oil in it. You would pay attention to what you do with it. But yet we're not doing the same thing with this amazing body we have. And
Yeah.
and it's not a machine that we can change car. We're
Yeah.
not taking care of it. And yes, so some people have bigger maintenance to do. Some people have time with their body, but this body is magical, and I really like when people can start taking care of themselves a little bit better.
So if people are looking for a tune-up, when they come to your practice, what are the different ways you provide people a tune-up? What are the different machines, modalities, hands-on support you provide for the type of tune-up that they might need?
I've probably trained myself in over 20 different techniques of body work where a lot of it is through muscle testing. So I muscle test you to see what's going on. I'm going to see what tools I have in my toolbox that's going to be most adapted to you. And then we have different machines in the office that we can use to enhance the body work piece. So body work, we can do some neuroemotional technique, we can do some activator, we can do some craniosacral, we can do some just regular chiropractic. So there's a lot of different pieces that most people don't really know what. A lot of people ask me, is like, what technique do you use on me today? I'm like, oh, I mix like 5, 6 different ones every time. So it's
Oh my
hard to
God.
say what technique I use. And when people are like, what technique do you use now? I'm like, I use so many different pieces of techniques together that I would not say I use one technique anymore.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
I'm literally like salivating as I'm listening to you because I know the power of energy work and how good it makes you feel, whether it's hands-on healing, it's tuning forks, it's a variety of different frequency machines, it's somebody working on you to pull the trapped emotions out of you. Like I know how good this stuff feels, and oh, I'm just craving something like that right now. So
you come by.
I'm going to come by. I'm going to schedule that after we get done with this recording. What are maybe three or four of the techniques that you find that you're using the most frequently right now on
My
clients?
big base is called network spinal analysis. It's a technique developed by Dr. Epstein. It's a technique that's a lot of chiropractic and energy work linked together to retrain, to teach the brain how to use different things that you already have. So tap into your breathing, teach your body how to release tension, discover how there's energy stored into your system and how to use that energy to transform. So that's a big base of the work I do. I use a lot of NET right now. NET is neuro emotional technique. It's looking at how emotion affect the brain and how patterns gets created into your system because of those emotions and especially trauma that happened in the past, and how you're going to protect yourself refusing to go to something so that you don't have to re-experience something that hurt you in the past.
Yeah,
Um,
I think
I
a lot of people
I
can
love
relate
my
to.
activator. So the activator is a gentle chiropractic tool that sends little mechanical impulses that moves joints. So this is direct nerve stimulation. It frees up joints. So it's really good for the neck because I'm not the chiropractor that go and crack your neck. I do that.
Yeah,
I use the activator, so it's a lot more gentle. But then uh, when you get that neck release, I had a patient this morning. She's like, oh, I'm like, do you feel that neck being locked up? And she's like, yeah, I feel it. I'm like, I'm not going to crack you because it was her first time here. And she's like, oh, and I released it gently. And she's like, oh, even better than when it got cracked. It's very interesting what people are expecting from a chiropractor. And when they come here, see that it's very different than what they're expecting, but yet it feels really good because it's really integrating physical, emotional, mental stress. The body can function way better.
Absolutely. How often do people come with you because they suffer from headaches or migraines?
Questions. Right now, I don't have a lot of people. I feel like people come by waves.
Yeah,
And right
absolutely.
now, we have a lot of people coming because of immune system issues. There's something going around that is catching everyone. I don't know if you have that experience in your practice.
Um,
Um,
I've been hearing that a lot from people.
so
I haven't experienced it, but that's what I'm hearing. Yes.
So right now there's a lot more people coming for immune system issues. During summer we had a lot of digestive problem coming in.
Hmm.
So it depends what's going on. I think there's triggers in our environment, and the triggers in our
Yeah.
environment is going to bring people in with different issues. So I don't think I have a lot of people coming from migraine headaches right now, but it's something that I'm familiar with. It's something that started me on my health journey. When I was 14, I started to have headaches. And I went to my doctor, my dad, which was my medical doctor, and I asked him, I'm like, what should I do? And he's like, well, you should just take some kind of Advil, and you can take up to 6 a day. So at 14, I started taking 6 a day Advil pretty much every day until it didn't work anymore. And I went back to my dad, and I'm like, okay, Dad, it's not working. What do I do now? He said, oh, it's normal. You just need to take something a little bit stronger. I started taking something stronger for a few months until I took 6 a day, and 6 a day was not enough. So I went back to him, and he's like, oh, okay, you just need to get something even stronger. And that's when he prescribed something with, I don't know, something bad that drug users use. And at 16 in France, I was trying to drink alcohol. So mixing that with the alcohol was not working for me, was costing me my study time. So it was a big problem. So I decided that this was not the solution, taking medication for my headaches, and I started looking into meditation. Actually, meditation helped my headache a lot, and finding my center was really what helped me the most.
Wow. Now, have you been able to figure out what the root cause that started the headaches when you were
Hmm.
14?
So for me, the headache started for me because of digestive stomach issues. When people come in with headaches, I have a tendency to say there's three main causes of headaches that I can see, and I'm going to check all of them. The first one is dehydration. So the first step, if you have a headache, would be to start drinking more water or electrolyte with your water, making sure that you are hydrated. If that doesn't do it, the stomach is going to be my second number. And look for what's going on in the stomach to see if that can be causing the headache. And the third one is neck tension. So as a chiropractor, we're highly trained to look for neck tension. And that's what we're going to look at. If we're talking just headache, and if we're talking migraine, we're going to have aura, we're going to have vision issues. That's a different problem, and that might be more affecting the brain. Same, we're going to look at brain function to see what's going on in the brain, to see how to fix the brain.
So, is the only difference between a headache and a migraine is the length of time that you're suffering?
There's more to it. I'm not going to be able to give you a full understanding about what when the headache become a migraine. But I think the migraine can be more hormonal, more circulatory, more brain inflammation. So it's more advanced than just a headache.
Where do you suggest people turn if they're suffering from either a headache or a migraine? Like, where can they turn other than Advil? Like, who can they go to if they feel like they've done those three options, that they've, looked at hydration, they've looked at their diet, they looked at their lifestyle, they looked at their next situation. Who do they turn to next?
Like me would be a good person. Any kind of chiropractor would be a good person. An acupuncturist. Always start with a doctor that is more holistic minded than a medical doctor that is going to prescribe medication. Taking medication, for me, it's how can we self-regulate the body better? Because your body having headache is not a lack of Advil. Really, that the body is calling for something else. It's trying to talk to you. There's something off.
Yeah, so it's just a messenger to let you know something's out of balance and you need to strive to get back into balance.
Yeah. So if you cannot figure it out on your own, start with looking for somebody holistic minded that would be able to look into your system to see where the imbalance is. Headache is a very common in terms of a lot of things. So when you have sinus, you have a headache. When you have digestive issues, you have a headache. When you have neck tension, you have a headache. When you're dehydrated, you have a headache. When you have fatigue, you have a headache. So important to go look at what can be creating it. Sorry.
So, how often does our headache have to do with the spiritual body, meaning maybe something having to do with our crown chakra? How often should we be looking at something like cranial sacral therapy to support or fix our chronic headaches or
So
migraines?
cranial sacral therapy could be used. So, for me, cranial sacral therapy is a holistic mindset. So it's not just looking at headache. And that's what in the holistic mindset is more looking at how the body talks to you and what is it trying to tell you. After that, through that holistic mindset, we're going to look at, oh, is it a physical problem? Is it an emotional problem? Is it a mental problem, or is it a soul connection problem? If we're talking about the chakras and the crown chakras being disconnected,
Yeah.
you're going to feel tired. You're going to feel dismotivated. The headache is not going to be your first symptom.
So, if it's really the chakra out of alignment, it's really having to do with energy levels.
Mhm. So it's hard to say, what is what. I
Yeah.
would say if an Advil doesn't take away your headache, likely there's another cause that you're not addressing. And the Advil is pretty good at taking care of the physical cause. So it's not a physical cause, it can be emotional, mental, and be spiritual.
That you brought up low energy because that's something that I have a lot of my personal chef clients talking to me about right now. And that's just a lot of what I'm hearing from just talking to people in general. Everyone seems to be very low energy at this time. Do you have many clients coming in because of that issue right now? And what do you try to help them with?
Energy, I don't have a lot of people right now in low energy. Low energy, end of summer, generally people have a lot of energy because they've been outside, they've been resting more, been able to connect with family members, so they have their cup generally filled. So low energy is when your cup gets empty. And what is your cup empty right now? So it's not something I see a lot commonly because of the sun is a really big part of our energy level. And in California, we're lucky because we have nice weather. So, and just being in the sun will bring that energy somehow back. I had one of my patients this morning that was really low energy, but she's been spending 3 weeks running around to the hospital because she's helping take care of friends and family members that have been sick, and everyone around her is sick. So she's running around, but she's exhausted because she doesn't have any time for herself to refill her cup. She has to spend so much time taking care of everybody else.
So, oftentimes, getting to the root cause of our energy levels is just looking at our life and
Exactly.
figuring out how we're spending our energy.
Mm. And then
It's the
if we're feeling like we're doing everything we need to look at why chronically out of energy. Or do we have a chronic adrenal fatigue? Have a chronic thyroid issues? Do we have, like we're talking about, my chakras are disconnected and not producing that energy? So that's all lifestyle related in a way. So
yeah,
people
and
that are drinking coffee all the time and can only function on coffee after drinking. I had a patient that he was drinking, I think, 13 coffee a day as a salesman in France, and after that, coffee didn't help him anymore. But he was like, I don't understand why I'm always tired and I'm drinking coffee. And I'm like, yeah, we need to reset all that.
yeah, absolutely. I'm going through the process of resetting all that. I've taken coffee and green tea out of my diet for the past 3 weeks. And
Nice.
for me, most of the reason why I drink the coffee and tea is sheerly for joy. Like, I just love the taste of really good quality single origin coffee and a particular green tea that I specialty order from a place. Like, I'm a chef, quality over quantity, and I really enjoy the cup. but I was feeling adrenal fatigue. So I thought, all right, let's just remove one thing that might be supporting the adrenal fatigue and see if that can help
Yep.
bring back balance. When you remove things like caffeine or chocolate or any of these
Sugar
stimulants,
too would be a
sugar,
big one.
yes.
Alcohol is a big one too.
Yeah, so let's say you take all those out of your diet for a few weeks to try to help you reset and rebuild your energy levels, and you're still depleted. What are other things that we can do or modalities that are out there that we can get treatments on that can help kind of refill our cup?
Supplements. We have great adrenal support in supplements that we can take. It's either pill or tinctures that works really well. That's easy. That's common. And there's things that are a bit more advanced. I really love our PMF mat. The PMF is a pulse electromagnetic frequency mat. That is really helping microcirculation, regenerating the body. Something that can be done to help. It's very relaxing, so it helps that relaxation phase. And it re-energizes the body because you were able to relax. Breathing exercise, breathing modalities would be amazing for somebody that have adrenal fatigue to help, even for headaches. Breathing exercise is key, I think, in any kind of practice to get your parasympathetic nervous system kicked in so that you can start healing yourself. People are stuck in survival mode, so always functioning into that state of being stressed, breathing and not functioning, and then they get into that, oh, I'm feeling good, and it's kind of their body asking them to rest and to relax for some time. So
Mhm.
crashing, they don't want to crash, so they're taking more caffeine, more chocolate, more alcohol to keep them going. So we get stuck into a vicious circle that really costs us our health.
If somebody is recognizing that they're in that circle, what's one of the first steps that you suggest they take to step out of it?
Breathe and meditate.
When you tell patients to meditate that haven't meditated before, that's a scary word to a lot of people. What are the tools and references that you lead them to so they can get started?
I start by saying meditation is a lot more easy than you think. And just sitting, and we're lucky because again, we live in California and we have the beach right there, but just sitting down on the beach, watching the wave crash, listening to the wave crash, breathing as the wave crashes is already meditation.
That's actually a beautiful idea to breathe as the waves crash. I like that idea. I've done so many different types of forms of meditation over
Mm-hmm.
the past 10 years. I find it easy. There's always times when it's hard, but that's a nice reminder that just being in nature without any technology around you is a form of meditation.
It's a form of meditation. Walking, staying in your thoughts, staying in the process of your body moving and feeling your body moving is a meditation. Meditating is just observing the life coming inside of you,
Are there
encouraging that life to come inside of you.
these machines that you really suggest that people start searching out in their community where they live that are just great for balancing and rejuvenating the body and keeping the machine running from week to week?
In our office, we have the PMF mat, and I really love it, and I would recommend it to everyone. We also have an ionic food detox bath. I really
Yeah.
love the ionic food detox bath. I think we live in a world that's so toxic that our body needs help to detox and load some of those chemicals that is in our air, in our environment, in product we put on our skin, in everything that we are touching, in the fabric that we're wearing. So it's important to help the body detox. So those two are my favorite ones that we have in the office. A vibration plate
Oh, yes.
can be awesome too. Sick, you're a chef. Use food as medicine. Um, not enough, not enough people pay attention to the food they're eating. I am
Yeah.
with you on quality versus quantity. I'm on you with high quality food, things that make sense, that feels good, and are going to regenerate your body. The best medicine at this point. Um, it's it depends on what you're already doing. In California, in our area, in Orange County, people are very intelligent. They're very smart. They're very researched. They've been doing a lot of things for many years already, but they're blind to different things that they have not been exposed to yet. They're really into their nutrition and they're going to do nutrition. They're not going to do exercise. Or they're
I see
going
the thing. They're all in on one thing
one
and they
thing.
don't even realize that it's about a
It's
balance.
about a balance. So looking at what are the things that you're not doing for your body that you're missing.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's like they care about the food they eat, but they're covering themselves in like a cheap toxic sunscreen. Or they care about the food that they eat, but they're always drinking alcohol, smoking cigarettes, and smoking pot.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's like it's a constant juxtaposition instead of a full holistic life pattern where it's like more of an 80-20, you know?
Exactly.
Life is
So
supposed to be,
I'm really for the 80-20 rules, doing
yeah,
80% of good things for yourself, and it gives you 20% to do a little bit of bad things because I do believe that everybody needs a little bit of pleasure and bad stuff.
yeah.
After
Absolutely.
that, choose your poison.
Yeah, but then like when you get past the poison, when you get past the good things, like life happens, right? And we all have emotional ups and downs. And I
Hmm.
think we in this wellness and holistic and health space, we often forget the emotional side. So we're so focused on the food and the products we put on our body and the items that we bring into our home and thinking about all that stuff, but there's still the emotional body and things can get heavy and then get trapped, right? So we can get stuck into mental cycles, or people can just get down, or they can just carry things in their heart or ultimately their stomach a little bit too long,
Think
which,
about this because this is interesting what you're bringing up.
yeah,
It's how McDonald's in the US is considered as comfort food. When you were a kid, mom, when you had a birthday party or there was an event, would take you to McDonald's to have a fun time. And you were playing in the McDonald's resort park, whatever. And you had a good time. But now you're an adult, that food is not necessarily good for you anymore. You're already like, okay, my body is aging. I want to do better for myself. I recognize that eating that food is not food at all. And I want to go with more food. But every so often you have that twinge in your brain that says, oh, I'm a child. I need support. I want my mom to hug me. I'm going to go get McDonald's because of it. Those are emotional trauma that has not been resolved. So looking at how the brain create those patterns of why are you attracted to something that you know is bad for you? How can we shift that in your brain so that you're not attracted to it anymore?
exactly. How can people get support to do that? What are the type of practitioners they should be looking for help to do that? Or what are the modalities out there that they should be looking for at a doctor's office in order to be able to
So there's
learn how to
quite a
do that?
few practices that works into the body and connects the body and the emotions. The emotion code is one, and T is another one. I like NET. It's a great technique that works really well for me. And it's that idea to use muscle testing and connecting to the body by asking the body. And what is interesting with muscle testing is that the body doesn't lie. So I was doing this to one of my friend clients the other day, and she's like, "It's so interesting how fast you can pinpoint what is my trigger." Because she's going to a funeral for a mom this weekend, and 2 weeks ago we were talking about it, and she was like, I'm struggling with something. I don't really know if I want to go. I'm booking my flight, but I want to cancel it. There was a lot of things going on, and so we determined that she was stressed about it because she was going to see one of her brother that resembles exactly his dad that abused her when she was a kid.
Got it.
So
Yeah.
didn't want Dan is dead, but she was afraid about her own reaction to her brother that looks exactly like like his dad. And that trigger, and when she realized that, oh, this is what I'm stressed about, able to be like, oh, I can manage this.
Yeah, she could free it from herself.
See, but we don't have the conscious thing about why do I not want to go to my mother's funeral.
Yeah.
There's no clear.
Yeah.
But when
It
we
helps
start
you get
asking our body,
calm.
what is it? What is it? What is it? Our body is like very clearly pointing us very fast to the right answers.
So what does NET stand for?
Pro emotional technique.
Okay. And can someone learn to do it on themselves, or is it always better to do it with a practitioner so you kind of don't get in your own way?
So they don't teach NET for when you self do it. I can self do it on myself because I know the practice and I can test myself.
Hmm.
I don't know if it's something that you can necessarily do on your own. It's very hard. Those are the kind of things that are very hard to do on your own because we have a lot of own struggles. Those blinds are there because they're protecting us against ourselves. We don't re-traumatize ourselves over and over.
How long is an NET session?
To 15 minutes.
And then what do you do next? So someone comes to you
So
for a variety of
So
reasons. You decide to
sometimes
go
comes to
a
me for
day.
any reason. I'm going to first do a basic energy work to help their body relax. We're going to incorporate a little bit of breath work because if we can engage that diaphragm, that vagus nerve, so that the body can start healing itself. And the idea is really to put the body into a healing state while they're here. So that when I'm starting the stimulation to their system, to make their system more efficient, or to even remove some patterns that are not sustainable, is accepting the correction and not fighting it. First step for me, and it takes about 5 minutes, is to put people in deep state of relaxation. And I do a few minutes of corrections where we're going to look at the pelvis moving properly, if the spine moving properly, is the neck moving properly, do we have any cranial issue, do we have any TMJ issues? That's basic. And then we move into organ function. I'm checking all organs to see if all organs are working the way they're supposed to work. And so if people are not digesting properly, we're going to look into that. If they're not breathing properly, we're going to look into that. If there's sexual issues with period, PMS, things like that, we can look into all that. And so once we're done with the organ check, we're going to look at emotional stuff. That's when we're looking into the emotional stuff.
And then what happens after that?
People are generally processing. So I love to send them on the mat to process because the mat is really good with microcirculation, keeps their body into that relaxation space so that they're processing in a healthy state. So they
Yeah.
process even better. And after that, they go home and they live life and they experience their life from a different perspective.
I love this. And how often should we be going in for a tune-up like this? Is this should this be like a once a month check-in?
So it depends
Or
on who and depends on what's going on and depends if you're just doing maintenance or if you're doing corrections. I have some people in maintenance that loves to come once a month, and once a month is perfect for them. Me personally, because I work so much on people, because I'm bent down all day long, I my maintenance to be once a week.
yeah. And who works on
My
you?
husband.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Well, I'm going to be visiting you very soon because this sounds like the perfect tune-up that this chef needs. I think anybody does work where they're working on other people, whether it's hands-on or through food or through words or through emotion, any sort of major energy exchange. We all need additional support to refuel.
I feel everybody should be getting. I have some of my patients regularly telling me that it's like, why is this not mandatory? Feel so
Yeah.
much clearer in their mind, in their space. They feel like they can interact with community so much easier when they're clear within themselves. They're like, why is it not mandatory for everyone? Why did they not teach this in school? Your kids, I'm like, this is not a question for me to answer.
No, I absolutely, and I think that's the hardest thing about just moving through life, seeing old friends, seeing family members, and just knowing that somebody needs help with the shift. And there's all these beautiful modalities out there that can help them.
There's so much that is so helpful. And people like the ease of just taking a pill or the ease of just stopping at McDonald's. They think it's easy, and yet the cost of it is so drastic. I was watching a little bit your podcast earlier, and they were talking about meal planning. I'm a very big favor of meal planning. I love meal planning. Every Sunday, I cook a few things for my week because I
Yeah,
like to have healthy food. One of the things that I love right now is a butternut squash. If it's
yeah,
not pre-cooked, I'm not eating it during the week because it takes too long to cook. But if
yeah.
every Sunday I cook a butternut, I have butternut for the whole week and I can put in my salad with my meat, different things, and I just love it.
Yeah, I'm the same way with certain root vegetables, or winter squashes. I have a winter squash, a small little like honey nut squash that I've been wanting to roast all week and put a little like herb tahini sauce on top.
Ooh.
But it is one of those things. There's certain foods that we know are just going to take longer to make.
Hmm.
So you just have to figure out the days of the week where you can schedule in the meals that take longer
Hmm.
and then have what you need for the meals that take a little shorter time. You
Yeah.
have to set yourself up for
You
success.
have to set up for success. And that's the same thing for food and for your health. You cannot come to me and say, oh, I have a headache. I've been having a headache for 3 weeks and I barely can walk. I have a sciatica and be like, oh, I'm going to fix you in 30 minutes. It's something that you have to set yourself for success. And it's so much easier to have an optimized body that works well than to have a broken body that needs to be repaired.
Absolutely. So if you just do a little bit of maintenance every day or every week, then the pitfalls aren't going to be as deep. You can come back faster.
Exactly.
I completely understand. And what I find so interesting, especially when it comes to food and the meal prepping, and a lot of clients that I talk to, or even people I talk to on this podcast, and they're just saying, oh, well, just so tired of cooking, or I'm just so exhausted, or I don't know what to make, or I'm just so over it. But people have been feeding themselves, essentially 3 times a day for millennia. Like, we aren't the first human group to come across the process of having to prepare meals 3 times a day, but we probably have it the easiest, right? Because we have refrigerators and we have ovens and stoves and we have all this equipment, all this stuff to set us up for success. But what I hear most of the time is complaining. So
Mhm. I find it
it's,
very hard for young women, and I have the same patients, I think, that coming in and they're like, I'm tired, I'm cooking all the time, I'm tired of cooking, I don't want to cook anymore. I'm like, what is your schedule of cooking? And it's like, well, I cook morning, I cook lunch, and I cook dinner every day. I'm like, why every day? Not make one meal that can feed you for 3 times. Like make a
yeah,
chili. Chili is super
yeah.
easy to make, and then you have chili for the whole family for 3, 4 meals.
Yes. You
And
make these soups, these stews, these traditional meals. You make large batches of grains, of beans, you roast whole chickens. That's why you keep things on the bone and then when it's all done, then you can make a soup
yep,
or a bone broth out of it. We aren't the first people to be doing this. So it's kind of looking towards the past to look at
mm-hmm,
like the traditional ways
yep,
and then incorporating what works for you and where you are in your life now.
exactly. I love.
But I feel like many of these modalities that, you are working with people on, and that people like me are turning to now, they're new and old. It's a balance of both that we're just being reintroduced to.
In the office, a Rife machine. A Rife machine is a machine that uses frequencies to help people, especially in terms of infectious disease, cancer, and Dr. Rife, that invented the Rife machine, was a medical doctor in the 1950s. He was a friend with Nikola Tesla, and everything was energy. It was before the age of antibiotics, before the age of cancer treatment. He wanted to find a cure for infectious disease and cancer using those vibration because everything was vibration. And what it is, it mapped out frequencies. So all our body have different frequencies. Our eyes is a different frequencies than our tongue, than our hair, than our lungs. And so when you're able to figure out which needs, you can send those frequencies into the body to support. And same to zap bugs into the system. So it's very interesting. For the longest time, his work was banned and or shadow banned.
Mhm.
And it's only like 15 years ago that it started surfacing in California. And for a long time in California, you were not allowed to use a Rife machine.
Yeah, it's so wild. I went to a doctor in San Diego who had a Doug coil. Are you familiar with Doug
No,
coils? So Doug coil is another frequency machine that uses a Tesla coil and you hold it against your body and you run different frequencies
that's
and it
similar
can
to the one we
eliminate
have. Uh-huh.
yeah, and it can eliminate any infection immediately on the spot. I had tremendous healings from using the Doug coil, but that doctor has since left California because it's just not a safe place for him to practice with that frequency machine, and he's taken it to Florida.
It's
And it's just
it's concerning. You have to be, as
yes,
practitioner, you have to stay in the legality of what you can do, and it's challenging because We hear about so many tools that can be so practical and so helpful to help regenerate the body, and we're not allowed to use them, and hard
Yeah,
to get so much information about how to use them properly also.
yes, absolutely. Just the training alone. I know the doctor that I worked with, he spent over 5 years just training
Mm-hmm.
to be able to use the machine. And so, so many, I hope this younger generation starts finding people like you that they can apprentice with,
Mm-hmm.
because there's so many tools and modalities that need to be transferred to generation to generation to generation,
So
but it requires years of practice
for sure.
before you can take it on your own.
We're talking about migraines earlier and headaches. We're getting something I'm very excited about. We're getting a cold laser. Cold laser is a laser that doesn't produce any heat, and then that's going to stimulate mitochondria into the body. You can use it on the brain, on kids that have ADHD, that have sensory issues, brain balancing issues. We can use it on the lungs to repair lung damage from smoking. We can use it on different joint and articulation after trauma. And it just helps the body heal faster, and it's painless. It takes 5 to 15 minutes again to use it. So it's not hard, but it's stimulating the right part of the brain while you're lasering it so that the body can know how to make work better.
Do you have people that often come in where they know that they've done years of smoking or years of drinking or years of something that they now realize didn't serve them and they want to try to reverse the damage? What are the modalities that they're usually trying to reverse, or the habits they're trying to reverse?
For me, it's hard to be like everybody is the same way. I practice personalized healthcare, meaning that everyone is unique, everyone is different, and then everyone needs to be stimulated in a very specific way. I will not do the same thing to you on the 2 visits in a row. I will not do the same thing to you than I do on your neighbor. It doesn't work like this.
Yeah.
But again, the PMF mat, because it has a regeneration possibility within it, on a lot of people. I have some patients that I put on the PMF mat and they don't see a good results because they're not there where their body is at. Right now, there's a lot of talk about detox, and a lot of people are really interested in detoxifying. And I have a specific patient I'm thinking about that she came in. She's like, I'm detoxing. I've been detoxing for the last 6 months. Symptoms are getting worse. I'm not feeling good. What's going on? I'm looking at her. I'm like, you're too sympathetic. You're too stressed. You're too much in that survival mode. Detox is a stress on your system. You're forcing your body to let go of something that it's holding on to for a bad reason, doesn't matter, but you're forcing your body, so it's stressing your system to detox. It's not working. So we started her on more like relaxation, regeneration program. And so we did that for 3, 4 months. And now I'm like, okay, start detoxing again. You cannot do any, it's not because detoxifying sounds good that it's time for everybody to do it.
Yeah. Just because everyone's doing it doesn't mean you need to jump on the bandwagon.
So there's things you cannot miss. A healthy lifestyle, putting good food in your body, it's good for everyone all the time. Exercising, mild, gentle exercise, yoga, stretching, cardio is good for everyone. Work at your level. It's not because you could do it when you were 18 that you can do it now. Water and drinking, super important. Breathing, super important. Those are all things you can do at any time. So this is like a good lifestyle. And from having a good lifestyle, what do you need to incorporate to start repairing the damage you already have done? What specific do you need to optimize that you're not optimizing yet? And that's what I was doing this morning with one of my patients. She's CrossFit, she super strong, beautiful, 68 years old, symptoms, and she's like, I just want to make sure that I'm not getting cancer. Okay, look at what your system are doing. What is missing? And we found some parasites, so we are taking care of the parasites.
Got it. So through all the steps that you do with the patient, you can recognize what needs to be changed
What's the
in order to
priority in their system that needs to be addressed? Mm-hmm.
That's beautiful. How wonderful.
Beautiful.
It is super cool. Well, I mean, we'll be chatting after this podcast ends. But in the meantime, for those that are listening, where can people find you and connect with you and schedule a time to work with you?
I have a website, dremmawagner.com. That's my personal website, and I have a website for my wellness center too, San Clemente Vitality.com. I'm on Facebook. You can friend me on Facebook. I'm not super active on social media. Got it.
Perfect. Perfect. And I'll have the link to both of your websites in the show notes for people that are interested. And could you leave our listeners with like one last health or wellness tip that they can consider adding into their life?
That you're magical, and it's start taking care of you a little bit better. Your body will give it back to you tenfold. It's worth it. Whatever you're attracted to doing, if it's starting to drink more water, if it's starting to drink less alcohol, if it's trying to hire a chef to have better food in your house, everything has a benefit. The consistency, it's not like when you do biceps, it's not because you go to the gym and you load your biceps and you do so many biceps for an hour that the next day you're going to have good looking biceps. It's time for the body to function well. But by giving it a little bit every day, by tending to it a little bit every day, like so much big progress, you'll be impressed with yourself.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Dr. Emma. It's such a treat. What you do is exactly what I want my audience to learn about. What you do, you incorporate a lot of the different modalities that I have seeked out over the past, I would say, 15 years. And it helped my consciousness unfold. It helped me hear the signs and the pinks to change my career and change my life and do different things to improve my health. And like, I think what you are doing is the future of medicine, but the future of just basic self-care. And so I'm really grateful to connect with you. And I'm really grateful that the audience got to learn from you, because what you do is what I hope everyone listening and their friends and family seek out, because I think it's what we all need to move forward in a life.
I can imagine a world where more people are doing it. It would be awesome. I've been doing it for 25 years already. I'm seeing more and more people doing it. And I really feel like we're going in the right direction. So I'm really excited. And I'm so happy for you. We're grateful for you doing what you're doing and bringing the word out. This is awesome.
Yeah, I think, we're not at the tipping point yet, but I think we're in such a beautiful space compared to where we were 10 years ago.
Yep.
Just the consciousness around food from 10 years ago is so fantastic.
Exactly.
And now people are really more comfortable hearing about chakras and energy healing
and meditation and yoga and
fancy machines and Tesla coils. And so we're headed in a wonderful direction. And I mean, it's all about just helping people feel good in their bodies so they can be in a more positive headspace and really take full advantage of having this life experience.
And that life experience is amazing. And we need to have people experiencing that amazing life so that more and more of us are doing it. It's just amazing.
Yeah, and then you nailed it. That was so wonderful to remind us that we are magic, because I think that's what it comes down to, is that like we are magical magnetic beings, and we can create more magical, joyful life. Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
Have a good day.